Ken Kramer, who is a space journalist. He's also the founder and managing editor of the space news website, Space Up Close. He is in Titusville, Florida. Welcome to the program, Ken. How secretive is the militarization of space? Is it even possible to keep a country's ambitions and their projects secret?
It's no secret at all. I mean, we've had the space race for almost 60 years. We've got nuclear weapons pointed at one another from Russia and the United States. You were just talking about the arms control treaty. So it's not secret at all. Only one thing that's secret is exactly the capability of our weapons, the Chinese weapons, the Russian weapons. And that's why we need those nuclear arm control treaties. So we want to maintain peace in space. We don't want to have any war, and we don't want to have debris like your other speaker was talking about, because that debris could destroy the satellites up there, like the International Space Station, science satellites, anything else, the Chinese space station that's going to launch soon. So we don't want any more space debris, and we certainly don't want war in space.
When you confine yourself to reality rather than fantasy, how much further can it go, the militarization of space?
Well, in reality, there's no end to it. I mean, if a madman gets in power, it would be extremely dangerous. So that's why we need to work together. We need to have these arms control treaties. There really is no limit. Just on the Earth, there's no limit to war except to keep powers from fighting one another. Superpowers and other countries from fighting one another. There's no limit, really.
But you indicated that with the weapons pointing at each other, that does that therefore mean that the weapons in space are actually designed to protect nations' interests on Earth rather than their future interests in space?
Oh, I think that's true, definitely. We want to protect our interests on Earth, but they would also be there to destroy one another's communication satellites and military communication satellites and military spy satellites, listening satellites. So yeah, their goal is to protect us here on Earth. But in reality, what they would do is they would destroy each one another enemy's satellites, that surveillance satellites and spy satellites, as I said. So that's where the war would happen. Yeah.
Ken, is there so far any news of any territorial claims being made anywhere outside the Earth's atmosphere, for example, the moon or whatever else countries may be interested in? A few years ago, the Russians sent a submarine up to the Arctic, and under the North Pole, they planted a Russian flag. And they said, because in future, when there are territorial disputes, we're going to say this is ours.
Well, that's always a possibility. You know, there is the Outer Space Treaty from 1967 that should stop that. What people do, what countries do in reality is another thing. But, we want to keep the moon as the heritage of all mankind and not belonging really to one country or another. And because it's coming up, hopefully we're going to be sending our astronauts back. The Chinese want to send astronauts, taikonauts back to the moon. The Russians also have plans to do that. So it's coming very soon. And, we have our unmanned lunar launches from the U.S. Commercial lunar landers going to land this year. There's Chinese landers there already. The sample return mission that just returned samples Christmas time last year. So the moon is an active place, absolutely, for science, and hopefully not for territorial grabs.
Yeah, and absolutely. And having recently confirmed the existence of water on the moon, then obviously it will be far easier to create a moon base and actually live there. But what about the minerals there on the moon that we might be able to use on Earth? What is it that countries will want to extract from the moon?
Well, they'll want helium-3. They'll want other minerals that rare earth minerals that will be very helpful for manufacturing. The water that you mentioned. Yeah, that's there. We know it's there, and we want to mine that because we can separate out the oxygen and the hydrogen. Hydrogen, rocket fuel, oxygen you can live off, so therefore we can live off the land. And if we can find other minerals that are useful in manufacturing, that'll also be helpful. And that's why, we need treaties, which you asked me about before. That's why we need treaties to govern all this, because we don't want to have a war on the moon. We want to have peaceful cooperation, and we have to figure out how to divide all this up. So these are really important questions that are going to need to be settled, and we're going to need the UN and countries working together to do that.
And do you trust countries to stick to their treaties?
Well, that's a great question. And I don't really know the answer to that one.
All right, I
Let's
thought the
say
answer was
hopefully they
definitely
will.
no, Ken.
Hopefully they will.
I thought the answer was
Oh,
definitely no. By the way, listen, before we leave you, someone in
yes.
our gallery admires your attire and wants to know where you bought that shirt from.
My wife actually makes these shirts, and she makes face masks, space face masks. I wear them in many interviews I do with you and other groups, as well as space launches. We just had a SpaceX launch a few days ago, two in the last week, and I wear these, and so they're all available. Jean Wright from Space Up Close, and So Sister. She worked on the space shuttle.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to Google that, Ken. Thank you so much indeed. Really appreciate it. Ken Kramer.
Oh, thank you very much for the opportunity.
Take
Very
care.
nice.